Are you struggling with addiction? Many men are addicted to bad habits, such as playing video games, masturbating, or using drugs. These addictions keep them from achieving their potentials. They find it difficult to stop, but the worst part is that they never admit they are addicted. Instead, they justify their behavior by saying things like, "Masturbating is healthy, bro. You should try it. Or else you will get testicular cancer." Or, "Video games are good for you. They improve concentration and teamwork." The best way to overcome addiction is to be brutally honest with yourself and admit your weaknesses. You can only overcome addiction if you keep things real. If you have already tried quitting your addictions and have relapsed, don't worry. Overcoming addiction is a beautiful thing, but most advice out there is pure garbage. It sounds good on paper, but it doesn't actually work. This video will be the only video you'll ever need on this topic. We will go over 5 ways to quit any addiction. Number 1. Cultivate hatred. A lot of people don't really get how to break addictions. They'll advise you to pick a date to stop your addiction or to keep yourself busy. Maybe this will work for a while, until you face temptations and fall back into the same cycle over and over. The first step to breaking addiction is not to avoid it. The first step is to develop a strong dislike for that activity. You begin by using hate. The people who tell you to follow rigid and mechanical routines to overcome addictions are clueless about what addictions are. They treat addictions like any other habits. Addictions are powerful emotional habits. Loneliness, boredom, greed, sadness, all these unresolved issues lead to your addictions. We don't choose to be addicted. What we choose to do is ignore our pain. No one else will tell you this, but the best way to fight your addictions is by cultivating the most intense emotion against it: hate. The reason why no one else ever told you this is because of 2 reasons. The first reason is because society has a very basic understanding of emotions, let alone how to use them to your benefit. The second reason is that people think emotions like hatred and anger are negative emotions, which is totally false. There is a time and a place for every emotion, even for hatred. Think about it. If you have a gambling or fapping addiction, love won't cure you of it. Happiness won't erase your bad habits. When you want to get rid of weeds in a garden, you need to kill the weeds. Similarly, to kill a bad habit, you need a powerful, destructive emotion: hatred. Most people don't know how to use this powerful emotion. That is why you will see them hating in YouTube comments, wasting their energy away. Pathetic. Knowing when to use certain emotions to your advantage, that is what true power is, and that's the first step to breaking any addiction. The way to do this is by thinking of as many negative outcomes of your addiction and write them down. For example, if you are addicted to fapping, write down how fapping prevents you from reaching your potential because it takes up your time and energy and makes you feel guilty. Write down how pathetic of a father it makes you and how it damages your dopamine receptors, makes you depressed and lowers your testosterone. These are just examples, but it's better that you go much darker than that. By associating all terrible things to your addiction, you make that addiction your enemy, and by reading them daily, you train your subconscious brain to hate those activities. This way, even when you're caught off guard by temptations, your subconscious brain is ready to resist it now. Before moving on to the next way to break addictions, I want to remind you of something very important. Every addiction is linked to a strong emotion. Loneliness could lead to fapping, greed could lead to gambling. And although hatred is an excellent way to counter these strong emotions and destroy your addictions, it doesn't help you understand the root of the problem. You could break an addiction and later start a new addiction because you didn't deal with the loneliness problem. I suggest you to start by using hatred to handle your addiction quickly, but to also come back later to understand why you had that addiction in the first place. Number 2. Purpose. A man who has no purpose in life naturally seeks pleasure to fill the void. He will do stupid things. It's inevitable. But a man who has a strong purpose in life can't afford to spend his time and energy on useless activities. Can you picture a man like Elon Musk becoming a drunk? Or a UFC fighter who is aiming for the title, masturbating 9 times a day? Of course not. Their purpose prevents them from doing that. A man's passion to achieve his purpose is 100 times more powerful than his craving for pointless distractions. No one else will tell you this, but this is the way to deal with your addictions. They will give you lame tips and rules to avoid your addictions, but they won't fix the root of your problem. The reason why I didn't put purpose as the first thing is because it's easier to hate your addiction than to find your purpose in life. It can take some time to discover what your purpose is, but that doesn't make it less effective than hating your addiction. A true purpose is one of the most effective and powerful ways to break addictions. Number 3. Do nothing. We have been conditioned to seek pleasure whenever we feel bored, or to keep working even if the tasks are meaningless. But when was the last time you did nothing? I don't mean lying in your bed and stinking. I mean intentionally doing nothing. Just sitting. Many people get addicted to things because they can't cope with boredom. So when you rewire yourself to be fine with doing nothing, you are less likely to succumb to addictions. Another thing you can do while doing nothing is finding out what your purpose is in life. That's another topic. Doing nothing has power, helps to reduce anxiety, unleash creativity, and improve productivity. Number 4. Fight dirty. If temptation and willpower are in a contest, temptation always has the upper hand. One moment of weakness is enough for temptation to knock you down. The trick is to undermine temptation before the battle even starts. Avoid your smoking buddies. Get rid of the junk food in your house. Don't bring your phone to bed with you. Unplug your internet if you need to. Whatever your addiction is, keep away from it as much as you can. You have to give up something to be able to change. Don't fight temptation with willpower. That's a last resort. Instead, outsmart temptations by being clever and savvy. Make it an unfair fight, and don't let your enemy get a chance to draw its sword. That's how you annihilate your temptations. In other words, change your surroundings and make it as hard as possible for your addictions to tempt you. Number 5. Move. Many people don't realize how effective regular exercise is for dealing with addictions. A lack of physical activity breeds addictions, while movement destroys them. It helps you take care of your mental health. So get moving. You can't light up a joint while you're running. You can't masturbate while you're doing push-ups. You can't bet while you're swimming. It's very hard to be miserable while you're moving vigorously. And here's the amazing thing about exercise. A good workout will release natural chemicals in the brain called endorphins. And when you get these endorphins in a natural way, you are less likely to want it in a cheap and artificial way later, because you already got your high from exercising. That is how to get rid of an addiction. Try it and see a different you. Please like this video and subscribe for more.